What's up guys, my name is Mike. Welcome to the shop. In today's video, I'm gonna give you a complete time lapse of the entire build of the shop. At the end of the video, stick around, we're gonna go over the cost breakdown, nitty gritty. I'm gonna break it up and go over everything. Also, a few of the things I wish I would have considered or known before I decided on going with the metal building. Welcome to the channel, hope you all enjoy. All right, so now to the cost of this building. The total cost was $37,500. Now keep in mind, this building was, for the majority of it, it was built in September of last year. Let's break that number down. The concrete slab cost on this building was $10,000. The metal building alone was $17,000. And that is completely installed, delivered, everything. That is one whole total price was $17,000. Mine was discounted a little bit because I had a couple issues with it. There was a few major things going on with our roofing system, and I'll put that link to that video below if you want to know more about that. So the original cost was closer to 19, but with some discounts they gave us with those issues I was talking about, they knocked it down to 17, and that's where we landed ultimately. The garage doors in it, we have one 16-foot garage door that is on a side mount motor, and we have one 10-foot garage door that is just a manual roll-up. All of that was $4,000, and that is for your standard stamped steel carriage style doors installed. The asphalt driveway, now that was a part of the house as well. And some of you guys, if you build these shops, it's gonna be like off your original driveway that you already have. So this is the total cost for the entire driveway. It's not just a pad that was in front of the shop. It is from the street to the house and then the kickoff to the shop. That cost me $6,000. So the driveway was a total of 2,500 square feet. There was really two options. There was the millings you can get down, and then they'll just like spray tar on top of it and roll it. And then there's the hot mix. The hot mix is what you want. So my driveway is the hot mix, and that was $6,000. I did a build series on this shop. If you're a first-time viewer on this channel, all those other videos for the shop will be linked down below if you're interested in that, and I'll kind of catch you up on some of the stories that we're talking about. So the electrical, I did a DIY. I did it myself. I'm not an electrician by any means, don't claim to be, but because of the cost of getting it priced out through a couple electrical companies, they were like around $5 or $6,000 just to tie this building in to the house with 100 amps and do a few receptacles and a few light switches. So I decided to do the research and I did it myself. That material I spent was right at $500. That is for buying one sub panel box, one roll of wire, which is right around $400 for both of those. So right now I just have a minimum, a few receptacles in here, have some overhead lighting, I have a power for the garage door. We haven't got to running our heavy hookups for our welder, our compressor and all that stuff yet. That'll be down the road in a future video. So this was just to get lights in the shop, a few outlets to get us going, just your basic stuff was right around $500 for the material. And that is the cost breakdown. So yeah, the total was $37,500, and it seems like a big chunk at first. And that brings me into one of the considerations that I would have again if I was doing this whole thing again. My project was kind of unique in the fact that I was building a home at the same time I was building a detached shop. One of the things I would majorly consider with this being the number of just doing the detached shop, how much would it have been if I just added a 4-car garage to the actual house? You know, you're just extending your garage slab, you're already doing the framing, you're already doing the wiring. How much would that have cut down or been less out of pocket? You know, maybe some of you construction guys out there that do this for a living could give us a little insight on that in the comments. I don't know. That's one of the things I think about now and would have considered looking into deeper if I were to do this again. Now my situation was a little bit different when we were building this shop. It was back at the prime peak of COVID lumber prices. Luckily we hit the dip in the lumber prices right before we built our house. So lumber costs on this building, I did price that out. And to get, to build this thing, traditional wood frame, stick built, I was getting numbers around $50,000, and that wasn't even finished on the inside. That was just siding, 2x4s, insulation, roofing, OSB, windows, all that stuff. It was right around $50,000. So that was the main decision in that time last year why I went with the metal building. Now in hindsight, with that information, if I could go back, I would have definitely looked a lot more into iron red buildings or just building it myself. I say all that to say this: you have to exhaust all your resources when you're doing the research on these building companies. A lot of these construction crews and subs and everybody you're hiring nowadays, they just do the job so quick and so subpar, and they overcharge. So you have to do the research, get everything in writing, have email correspondence saved, everything. Don't pay until the job is done 100%. Luckily with the company I chose, they did do a subpar job for sure, but they did only require a 10% deposit until the building was completely finished to my liking. So that kind of saved my butt. I've heard of a lot of horror stories where people have paid like 50, 60% and they have problems, they run into it down the road and they just stop the work until they fix this, and the guys just take off and leave. They built you a structure 50% of the way, they got 50% of the money, they're not going to waste their time. And it seems like the guys these days, they're so covered up at work, they don't care about the negative or bad feedbacks or relationships they leave with these customers behind, because there's 10 people in line waiting for them to come over and do work for them. So that sums up the shop build and the cost of the shop build. I just want to give a huge thanks to the guys in the comments and everybody who helped me out with a lot of these trust issues I had, and the electrical stuff that I've done. I've gotten so much guidance from you guys. you know, we always have the comment warriors that I just kind of ignore, but there are a lot of you out there who do this stuff for a profession and are in the trade, and help me out with the knowledge and all that stuff. Because if you do your research, no matter how much you do, a lot of the stuff you find on the internet and Google is crap. A lot of these guys that are typing all this up and giving you advice, they're not the guys that are having the dirty knees and dirty elbows and, you know, cracked hands doing the work in the field. So I feel like a lot of those guys watch the YouTube and leave comments, and they have some good advice. So I just want to say thank you to them, and hopefully we'll get these trusses tied up with those tension cables in a future video down the road. And for all you guys that are returning, the shop did pass the inspection. I don't know if a lot of you guys caught that in the last video, but it did pass. So we are good to go. We got the car lift going in the next couple of videos, and hopefully that will go up to the ceiling, and then I can kind of support some of the trusses off the top of the car lift and then do the cable tensioning on the rest of them just to hold that wall tension, and we will be good to go. But again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for your comments. We are almost at 10,000 subscribers, which is like, just blows my mind. So if you're still watching to the end of this video, I doubt most of you are, thank you for the support. And we will see you next week on another project. God bless. Have a good one, guys.